As we getting ready to begin here, if you'd like to drop a hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from. Okay, great. It's 12:01. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Juan Espinosa, Director of Student Success here at the UCLA School of Nursing. Thank you for joining us today for our program Journey to the Doctorate. Today you all will have an opportunity to explore our programs and find out which doctorate degree would be the right fit for you. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our dean's welcome. It'll be Associate Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Liz Izquierdo.
Welcome, everybody. It's so great to see you. I see in the chat we have people as far away as Colorado. We have our faculty, our staff, alumni, and some of our students here. My name is Liz Izquierdo. I'm the Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and on behalf of the Dean, who may join us in a little bit, I'd like to welcome you to our seminar today. It's being recorded, so just want to let you know that we'll make this also available for you after. Juan will be our MC, and we're delighted to have Dr. Nancy Jo Bush and Dr. Teresa Brown, our directors for our DNP program, and Dr. Wendy Robbins, our director for the PhD, and our alumni as well as students. We'll have a short introduction of both programs first, and then we will also have breakout rooms to allow you time to ask individual questions. In addition, we'll have our director, Leonie Thomas of Financial Services, and Dr. Mark Coven, who's our director of admissions, in one of the breakout rooms in a little bit. But we're excited to have you here, and I'll turn it over to Juan.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Liz. Kicking off the program, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the DNP program. It'll be with a program director introduction and program overview by Dr. Bush. Take it away, Dr. Bush.
Thank you, Juan. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our program, Journey to the Doctoral Degree. And my name is Nancy Jo Bush. I am the director of our Doctor of Nursing Practice program. And I'm proud to have speaking with me today, Dr. Teresa Brown, Assistant Director of the DNP program, and alumni speaker, Dr. Elizabeth Van Den Bogart, and one of our second-year students, almost graduating. And his name is Luigi, and I don't see him on my screen, but I'm sure he's here. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my journey to the doctoral degree. Actually, I am a Bruin from getting my master's in nursing at UCLA many years ago. And after working both as a clinical nurse specialist and then as a nurse practitioner in oncology, I decided that I wanted to go back for my doctorate. And UCLA actually did not have a program then. So I am an alumni of California State University Consortium, Southern California. And I was very glad that I got my doctorate. It actually gave me the opportunity to advance my academic career by becoming director of our Doctor of Nursing program, which was actually launched in 2018. We've had over 60, close to 65 graduates now, and we're on our 6th cohort. We're very proud of our program. And we have a lot to tell you today. So I'm going to let Dr. Teresa Brown tell you a little bit about herself, and then we're going to tell you about our program.
Well, welcome everyone. So nice to see so many people here. This is wonderful. I am also a Bruin. I graduated many years ago. And from the master's program, I'm an acute care nurse practitioner, and I worked in the clinical area for many years and then took a position at UCLA as the lecturer in the adult gerontology acute care program. I then became the program coordinator of the acute care program, and in 2021, I joined Dr. Nancy Jo Bush as the assistant director of the DNP program. I had considered, I wanted to go to UCLA, but at the time, because I was teaching, I could not, because it was, I guess, a conflict of interest. So I looked around at a number of different schools. I looked at hybrid schools, opportunities to do online versus the intensive, but I really like the brick and mortar. I wanted to go to a class where I was with other people. And I also went to the Southern California Consortium on the high recommendation of Dr. Bush, and she said it was wonderful and it was a very good program. Very happy I did get my DNP. I had put it off for some time, but I'm very glad I did it. And you will soar if you get this degree, because so many doors will open up for you. So welcome. I look forward to having answer any questions you may have. And thank you very much, Juan.
I am going to start a little bit about telling you about our program, and Dr. Brown, jump in, please, at any time. Again, I mentioned we launched in 2018, and we are actually a hybrid program, meaning that on a quarter system, we meet every other Friday in the classroom. And those are full days, not unlike master's programs where you come at 8 and you spend the day with your faculty and peers until about 5 or 6 o'clock. And then on the off weeks during the quarter, you do asynchronous work, internet, and that can be dependent on the professor and the course, what is expected. It can be doing research critiques. It could be discussion boards of a very current topic in nursing policy. So it's different activities during the off week. So you're actually here for 10 weeks for a quarter. They go very quickly. But one thing I want to say about our hybrid program is that we really enjoy it. It gives the students an ability to keep their full-time jobs during work, during school, and the majority, if not all of our students, have kept to full-time jobs during the program. It also, on the days where you're in class, it affords the opportunity as a student to have easy access to your faculty for questions and guidance. And in addition to that, we have had wonderful cohorts. So the core cohorts are very engaging. We have all specialties. We admit nurse practitioners, clinical nurse specialists, nurse anesthetists, psych mental health, and also nurse executives. So being in the classroom with different people with their varied life experiences and clinical experiences, very exciting. It really promotes rich discussions and great question and answer periods. And I just want to, and then I'll let Dr. Brown speak for a minute in case she has something to say. And then we'll introduce our two guests speakers. But I wanted to say something about our DNP faculty. They come from the faculty at UCLA School of Nursing, and all of them teach in their area of specialty, clinical specialty or research specialty. And since we launched in 2018, we've been very blessed to have consistent faculty teaching. There hasn't been faculty turnover. And so students really get to know their faculty in the DNP program, and the faculty have enjoyed teaching them very much. And then the last thing I'll say, and then I'll let Dr. Brown speak for a minute. I just want to welcome you not only to listen to this DNP part of the presentation, but also to the PhD component, because you want to make sure that you make the correct decision for your personal and professional goals of which doctorate you want. And it is important to educate yourself on both doctoral degrees because the PhD research degree also works with the clinical DNP degree. The DNP clinical degree, our students learn how to apply the research, translate it to practice at the bedside or at a systems level, where the PhD degree is a research degree that develops new knowledge and new practice guidelines for nursing profession. So it's important to, listen to both. So Dr. Brown, did you want to add anything about our program?
I just wanted to dovetail on the faculty. We sit right next door to a national worldwide institution healthcare facility. UCLA Health at Ronald Reagan, UCLA Health at Santa Monica. And we're also very, very fortunate to have our colleagues, Dr. Karen Grimley, the Chief Nursing Executive, and Dr. David Bailey, the Chief Nursing Officer, as well as Dr. Colleen Wilson, who is the Director of Nursing of those institutions. And they teach in our leadership as well as in our finance courses. So they bring rich discussion and their perspectives, and the students love it. We do have just phenomenal faculty all around. So I just wanted to mention that. And I think you will also like the hybrid courses that we offer. We do find our students really like to be together every other Friday that first year. They gain a lot of rich discussion just being face to face. And then it is nice in the third year, they meet once a month in person. And again, it just brings that camaraderie. So it's an excellent program. I highly recommend it. And if you have any questions, we'll be going into discussion groups, I understand, or breakout rooms, so we can answer more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Before I introduce our two guest panel speakers, I just wanted to also mention about the DNP degree and our curriculum. It is based on the American Association Colleges of Nursing, which is our professional organization that provides the guidelines and framework for all nursing education from the baccalaureate to the DNP level. And so if you look at DNP programs across the country, you will see a similarity in the names of some of the courses that are based upon the AACN domains and competencies of practice, what's expected of a DNP graduate. And in addition to that, I just want to mention which one our panel members might speak about is that the product that you work on during your DNP curriculum is the DNP Scholarly Project, which is based on a clinical inquiry or a clinical area of study you'd like to focus your research upon. So next I'm going to introduce our two panel speakers. I think what might be nice is to start with Luigi, who's a second-year student, and then to finish with Dr. Beth, who is an alumni, and they can both speak to their experiences. So Luigi, you want to go first?
Dr. Bush, thank you for the introduction, and Dr. Brown, thank you for sharing all of the highlights, of our program. I could not stress enough how proud I am, to be part of our wonderful School of Nursing and in this university. I can't highlight enough the value of our amazing faculty, both, from the School of Nursing and the faculty and leaders on the UCLA Health side of things. I think that's really one of the many strengths, of our program, to have practitioners, of our profession, from a top institution across the street at UCLA Health, and then also our world-renowned researchers, on the academic side of things. I mean, we're so lucky to have them. We have Dr. V in here, also on the call. I don't think I've learned so much, about educating and the different tools that we have available for us. Just when I thought that I already knew so many things about Microsoft Office, you still learn so many things. And I don't want to spoil, Dr. V's courses, but I think you'll learn so much and appreciate that. And that's just on the School of Nursing side of things. I think we forget that, from the university standpoint, being the #1 public university in the country and one of the top 10, top 20, universities, in the world, we have resources that are available to us. We have library resources. We have so many things. I think at the end of the day, we're all professionals as DNP students and practitioners, but we're still students. We're student nurses, and there's so many things that the campus, could offer, from networking opportunities to other learning opportunities. We have a graduate resource, center that so many of all of us are graduate students that can benefit from it, from writing workshops to career advice to networking opportunities. I think a lot of those come in as a student of this, university. I'm a veteran. I'm a student veteran myself. There's so many veteran resources available, for veterans and our families, that I think I wanted to highlight as well. And really just the the camaraderie that Dr. Brown, talked about. I think I could not stress that enough. The time that you'll spend here will not only develop, professional relationships, but friendships that really matter beyond, the walls of the classroom and in this campus. And that note, I want to hand it over to Liz and share more.
Thank you so much. I'm catching that baton, that Bruin baton, I should say. But thanks for the invitation. And I think it's really easy to be able to want to come and promote our DNP program at UCLA. Having lived it, I was lucky enough to be cohort #2. So when I had sort of been in clinical practice for several decades, and sort of starting to feel like I can do more, but how am I going to do more and in what way? Because we can sometimes feel a little bit in our silos in what we're doing, and we really can see how healthcare has changed so much, and looking at all kinds of things like equitable care and effective care and the economics that surround it. How do we be involved in policy and all kinds of things outside of what we know how to do as nurses? But how do we bridge those gaps, and how do we reach out and have a better impact? We're proud to be in nursing, but it is a profession, and we want to stand tall within our profession and the science of nursing and really promote that so that others see us as we see ourselves. But sometimes we kind of have to turn that lens around and learn how to do that. So I too, like many of the folks here, was looking at different programs available. UCLA, thankfully for me, had already just had their first cohort go through, and it really felt right to me. The hybrid program was a phenomenal draw for me, because I know I need face-to-face, I need that classroom contact, but I also know I can work independently. And I can work ferociously on downtime that's convenient to me because I'm working full-time. And I was able to, like Dr. Bush mentioned and Dr. Brown mentioned, able to continue to work my full-time practice. I work in clinical practice in cardiomyopathy and heart transplant, very busy practice here at UCLA Medical Center. And so still wanted, though, to reach out. When you begin the program at UCLA, a light turns on and it continues to shine. It just doesn't stop, because you're so invigorated and thrilled by what you've learned. And then you get even more excited when you finally finish to say, I know how to make change. I know how to do things. Change is slow. We 100% realize that. But at least you have the tools because of the extraordinary faculty, because of the extraordinary resources that Luigi pointed out. And those don't stop when you leave your program. The networks that you build and that foundation of support and resource, even if you had to take that elsewhere, you know how to navigate to find those things somewhere else. So can't say more proudly or in any other way. It's such a great program. I think it fits so many, and I think the dynamic blend during the selection process of each cohort really adds to the strength of each cohort as they come through. So it is important to, really take the time when you're applying to these programs, what's going to be a good fit for you, so that you can get the most out of any program.
Thank you both, Luigi and Dr. Van der Bogert. We're gonna go ahead and move forward into a few questions of the panel section of the program. So this first question is for Luigi. How has your UCLA School of Nursing student and academic experience enhanced your professional practice thus far?
I think I mentioned the resources available that, that we have. Just last quarter, there's so many journals articles that we read, and I attended this workshop for a Graduate Student Resource Center on reading journals and strategies, to effectively read these things. And it may sound very, it's such a very simple skill, but it had helped me, with this program because of the demands of our program, and not to mention, work demands professionally, that you have to keep up with. And those little things that you would think, are very simple, but yet very impactful, to what we do, not only for this program, but even outside. I mean, we're trying to promote evidence-based practice, not only academically, but professionally, right? And that means, bettering yourself. That means reading and really understanding the different types of evidence. I used to think that Becker's articles are scholarly, and then you understand, the different levels of evidence, the different levels of journal articles that we're reading. Most recently, I was at a conference that was, supported by our program, by the DNP program. So things like, scholarship opportunities for conferences and professional development that you get from this program. It's just one of the many things that have helped me professionally. Networking opportunities within the university. There's so many opportunities for that, but even within the School of Nursing, we have regular meetings for PhDs and DNPs, current students and alum. So there's that opportunity to really just bounce off of other doctorate, doctorally prepared nurses, either from a PhD or DNP standpoint. I do have I am currently working with Dr. David Bailey, whom Dr. Bush introduced or mentioned earlier. He is the CNO of UCLA Santa Monica. So I've been spending a lot of time on an official mentorship capacity, learning from him and learning, there's so many different aspects of nursing leadership. So those are just some of the many, many things that have helped me professionally, through this program and within the program. I wanted to highlight healthcare policy. I think so many of us get focused on, clinical work or even nurse administrative work, but there's that other side. And I think, Dr. Brown and Dr. Blake, who are experts, in the field of policy and have firsthand experience, really help, advocate for not only for nursing, but for patients alike, are just, again, I don't want to spoil, but those are the amazing experiences that I have gone through personally that have helped me become, the leader that I am right now, and hopefully, carry on that torch that Liz and the previous cohorts before us, and really bettering our program and promoting, this DNP program.
Thank you, Luigi. That was great. Next question for Dr. Van der Bogert. What doors has your UCLA School of Nursing education opened for you as a professional, and how have you been able to leverage those opportunities?
Well, I'm very fortunate because I'm working in a field and a specialty that I'm really passionate about. So I haven't wanted to step too far away from it. But within that, interestingly, because of the work that we've done through our scholarly project, I've had colleagues, physicians and nursing alike, come to me to look at how we could do higher quality projects that have meaning for change. And so that has become an interesting transition that I've been able to shepherd other projects within our division and within our specialty, and looking through a different lens that maybe was very scientific in one way, but not embracing some of the other qualities that we need to be addressing within our population that we're serving. So for me, it's really had a heavy focus on Luigi just talking about policy, but also interestingly, how do we take the evidence we've already done and translate that to our bedside, but continue the inquiry? So it's been really dynamic that we've been involved in probably 4 projects since I graduated in 2021 that are on an actual publication route, but changing our internal practice and how we're working with our patients. And that's been really exciting for me. And I think just being able to engage in other committees within our, not just within our clinical specialty, but more on a system-wide level, and being able to sit at a table and have some eloquent conversations and some challenging conversations. Because again, we've learned the tools of what we need to be speaking that language and looking through a lens that can then be shared, clinical, and administrative at the same table to help make decisions and being heard, because you have to learn a new language sometimes and able to be heard for change. So I would say those are the 2 things for me that have been very helpful. And just being able to lecture more and have the confidence to do so. So being out there in the community, disseminating these projects that have really made a difference. And I think having that confidence, because we know how important disseminating the work is.
Thank you, Dr. Vanderboogert. We do have to move on, but we do have one more question for both of you. What does it mean for you to be a Bruin nurse? About Luigi?
Those are very, very proud, kind of like words that I take seriously. I think when you come from this university, when you come from this program, you don't only wear that badge of pride, but you also represent, excellence to the highest level. I think, we've always held ourselves to a highest standard, as nurses, and then take it to the next level when you become certified nurses. But I think, when you go through this program, it doesn't matter if, if it's an undergrad, your licensure program, or all the way, to your DNP or PhD, degrees, the responsibility that comes with it, and the pride that comes with it are just to, a different level. And I think we become, not only, stewards of the profession, but I think advocates, also of the university. And I was at a conference most recently, and I haven't even graduated from the DNP program. And just merely having that information, at the conference just, draws so much attention. So I think when you're out there, you have that responsibility, to really hold that Bruin nurse, title or description, to a different level. And it's just, I couldn't be more proud, to call myself a Bruin nurse.
Thank you, Luigi. That was wonderful. Dr. Vanderboogert.
I would say ditto. I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind when I hear Bruin nurse is just pride, absolute pride. And I feel like we stand on the shoulders of giants, as it's been said before, because monumental change has come from people that have graduated from these programs. So thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you to the DNP program for opening up our session. We're switching gears into the PhD program, And so I'll turn it over to Dr. Robbins.
Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. And it's wonderful to see your interest in our programs. I am Wendy Robbins, PhD Program Director. I'm honored to be joined by an outstanding alumni panelist. You want to take a minute, Inez, and introduce yourself? Raise your hand so we know where you are.
Okay, I'm not sure that everybody sees me, but I'm Dr. Ines Verzemniks and a proud graduate of our program. I'll give you a little more information later, but I'm a colleague as well of the professors you've been hearing already, and I'm really excited that you're thinking about UCLA. So.
And also an outstanding student panelist. Christina, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Cabaramino. I'm right now a third-year PhD student within the School of Nursing, and I certainly feel very lucky to have gone through this program. And it's kind of crazy to me that it's almost over, but I'm very happy to speak with you today about my love for UCLA and how much it supported me throughout this journey.
Thank you. So if I can have my slides, and quickly, I'm just going to talk maybe 4 minutes, and it'll be about the PhD in nursing and specifically our PhD program at UCLA. So the PhD in nursing is the highest academic degree possible in nursing. Less than 0.1% of today's nursing workforce have a PhD. And the nursing PhDs develop the science of nursing, and they do this through research that improves health of individuals, communities, and health systems. Nursing PhDs, as was mentioned with the DNPs, steward the discipline. We do this through research scholarship and also through academic positions that prepare the next generation of nurse scientists. Next slide, please. This is a 4-year program of study, although some students complete in 3 years. It's aligned with the 2022 AACN Pathways to Excellence for the Research-Focused Doctorate. And the program provides teaching and mentorship by leaders in the field of nursing at a top-tier university. That's also been mentioned. UCLA brought in more than $1.7 billion in research funds in the most recent funding cycle. The program is highly individualized, and that's why some people complete in 3 years, some in 4, some maybe a different number of years. And it allows the student to develop expertise in core knowledge, plus expertise in an area that they select to do research. And so, next slide. A basic overview of the curriculum includes all of the content that is recommended in the Pathways to Excellence document, philosophy of science, theory, policy, and then research methods and design and grantsmanship come and build on that in the second year. And after that, you form your dissertation committee and you work on your research project. So all throughout, you have advising and mentoring and hands-on research experiences with advisor and your dissertation chair. And multiple specialty experiences are open to you on campus. Next slide. Just quickly, some things that areas where we have research groups formed around faculty research are things like cardiovascular health, for example, cancer, healthy aging, social determinants of health, and data science. All of these and more are available through our faculty and through other faculty on the UCLA campus. And then next slide. That's it. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to Inez.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Robbins. And I'm going to just do a brief overview. Like, I got my bachelor's degree at the University of Washington in Seattle, and proceeded to get a job in pediatrics, moved right up to assistant head nurse. Then I moved to the East Coast and eventually got my master's degree at Boston University when they had a nursing program. They are now one of those schools that closed the nursing programs. A wonderful campus. I really enjoyed it. And I had then took a job, you know, I had a job at Boston City Hospital that I'd left to get my master's degree and then returned to it as an assistant director of nursing for pediatrics. And I interrupted that, went to London for 6 months and learned all about the British nursing system, which was very exciting, with visits by the Royal College, through the Royal College of Nursing that I set up as a member of American Nurses Association. So in 1980, moved to LA, worked at Kaiser West LA as a head nurse for nurseries, postpartum, and NICU. When I got the call, I'd put in my application to teach at UCLA. They needed a PEDS instructor. So I signed on as a master's prepared lecturer, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up doing the pre-licensure, but then also the clinical nurse specialization, pediatric growth and development, and some of the nursing theory courses. And during that time, I collaborated with Dr. Deborah Koniak-Griffin and Dr. Susie Ludington by doing their home visits. They had funding for a research study, but they didn't have funding for RA. So I said, yeah, sounds like fun. I've got the skills. Let me do some of the developmental testing. And so I proceeded to do a number of publications with them. And as a result of that, I was invited to submit articles for publication and presenting my previous work at the Western Institute of Nursing. So it was a really wonderful environment where I go, wow, I think I might like to go on and get my doctorate so I can continue teaching and doing research and contributing. So when my daughter was 2 years old, I entered the then Doctor of Nursing Science program at UCLA. That was the first doctoral degree that the school was able to negotiate through the university, and it took a number of years, proving that the graduates delivered high quality research, that then the university approved that that degree was converted to a PhD. During that time, and I have to tell you, I took a long time to do mine because I interrupted it. I entered in 1988 and graduated in 98, but had a period of time where I had a leave of absence because I took on the duties of project director for the early intervention program, a research randomized clinical trial of an early intervention program for teenage moms that we administered in San Bernardino County with Dr. Koniak-Griffin was the lead on that. And it was a great opportunity for me to really dive in deeply into all the ins and outs of doing high quality research. And as a result of that, a number of other doctoral students, as well as I, had research that was a spin-off of that early intervention program. I'm very proud of that work. It was then designated by HRSA as an evidence-based model of home visiting for young mothers and children, eligible for Affordable Care Act funding. But by the time that came down the pipeline, we had not continued the program because it's pretty hard to mount a program if you don't have infrastructure and financial support. So, you know, we ended up doing quite a bit with that. I also then worked for the Center for Vulnerable Populations Research as a project director after I did a postdoc as well. And then as fate would have it, they needed somebody to start teaching a class in 2 weeks. So they said, hey, it's a class you taught before, you could teach it. And as fate would have it, I did not have any of my materials anymore. So I ended up, putting together the growth and development class for the PNP students in the advanced practice, and then eventually added other classes and ended up a full-time lecturer once again. As a result of, so much of that work, the elements of mentoring that can happen in the school, the networking. I have to tell you, nursing is a pretty small community when we get down to it. And I was very excited to see Luigi and Dr. Vanden Bogart talk about how important this program is to your networking, your confidence, and your ability to publish your work as well, because there's a big encouragement at UCLA to disseminate what you do. We can sit on a lot of these things and that won't help our profession. But there's a lot of encouragement and the opportunity to participate in research with high-level mentors is pretty profound. You aren't going to see this at a lot of other universities. I cannot underscore UCLA is a research-intensive university. So I think that's enough for me for right now. I'm retired, but I am on recall. And I'm teaching, I taught the educator course for the APRN students, and I'm currently teaching, I've had the pleasure and luxury to work with the DNP students since Elizabeth's cohort. I've been doing the education practicum, which is 1 unit over each of the 3 quarters of the first year, where we really focus on patient education and health literacy and how important those concepts are. And Christina, you also took the N220 course as part of your electives. And so, you were stellar in that. It was great to have a doctoral student in addition to the APRN students in the mix. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that. That was great. We're gonna swiftly move into our next section. It will be our PhD student alumni panel. We do have Cristina Carrera Mino and Dr. Benisa Salem. Is she here, Dr. Salem?
I am.
Yay, awesome. So for the first question, this one will be for both of you. What made you decide to take the necessary steps to apply for your PhD in nursing at UCLA? How about Christina?
So in my case, there were several factors involved. My research interest is based on congenital heart disease. So I was quite fortunate to have an absolutely fantastic mentor here at UCLA. So it really was an alignment between my research interests and that of my advisor, Dr. Nancy Pike. She's been a wonderful mentor and has actually, actually was able to supervise me in the process of getting an NIH NRSA F31 predoctoral award, which is quite an amazing thing to get for as a PhD student, because this will be funding my next 2 years of research, which I'm currently doing right now. Additionally, it's great to be in Los Angeles because it's the second biggest city in the United States. We have a huge population here, a huge diverse patient population here, many different research institutions that UCLA also has a collaborative relationship with. And this also facilitates the ability for me to do my own research work, because if there ever was, in other cases, when I was helping out with somebody else's research project, if there ever was an issue with patient recruitment, we can always open doors to another site. And so that really was the reason why I chose UCLA, just the supportive network that we have here, both within UCLA and also outside of it in the larger Los Angeles area, as well as the amazing mentors that I was able to get connected to here.
Thank you, Dr. Salem.
Thank you so much, Juan and Christina. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I've always been really passionate about writing and research, and I wanted to make a meaningful difference through research and actually the written word among underserved communities, and translate those findings into the classroom through my teaching and educate the next generation of nursing students. And so when you ask what made me decide to take the necessary steps to apply, it was really that drive.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. For our next question, are there any tips, advice, or pointers you can give prospective applicants for a strong application to the PhD in nursing program? How about Christina?
I think a good thing to keep in mind is a PhD is meant to give you the opportunity to dive deeper into a particular topic. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to have a fully fleshed out idea of what your research is going to look at like when you first start. And I know in my case, there's quite a few tweaks that I worked on for the first 2 years before I settled on my final project. But I think it's very important to identify and be sure that there is an area you want to move forward, you want to specialize in, that you want to gain a certain set of skills, whether that is perhaps more experience with certain statistical methods of analysis, qualitative versus quantitative research projects. What is the patient population you want to work with? What are the outcomes you are interested in exploring? I think those are things that are, even if you're not entirely certain whether it's an area you want to, whether you're entirely certain it is something that you definitely want to do for your dissertation, I think it is important to at least have the basics of what type of research you want to do. Is it, again, qualitative versus quantitative? What is essentially the key domains you want to touch on? In my case, that is neurocognitive and psychological outcomes. And what is your patient population? Again, in my case, that is adults with congenital heart disease. I think it's important to be able to say why you are interested in those areas and what are the things that you hope to develop further at UCLA. Because this is really a PhD is an experience where you get you come in with these big ideas and everything, but you learn how to specialize. And I think it's also important to have at least some idea of what is the direction you want to go and what are the skills you would like to pick up.
Thank you, Christina. Dr. Salem.
To echo what Christina said and build on it, I think you should learn about the application requirements and become familiar with them. Ask questions by consulting with, the admissions department, and identify faculty research interests within the department. So you want to find out about the research interests, their content expertise and subject matter expertise, the methodology, and determine whether they align with your own. You also want to consider and reflect on the ways that you want to actually contribute to nursing science, because in your statements, you should really be able to articulate that well. And if you're a current student and you have the opportunity, seek out research experience before applying, whether that's within a topic that you're interested in. Maybe it's a population, a methodology, some kind of content area that you're interested in. Allow plenty of time to get your application ready. And when you are working on it, ask for feedback from either a peer or a mentor. You should consult with them prior to your submission, because that actually will strengthen the overall product.
Thank you both, Christina and Dr. Salem. Give it up for the PhD team. Moving on to the last portion of our program, we're going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms. Attendees are freely able to join whichever breakout room you want to go into and ask questions at a one-on-one level. There will be 3 breakout rooms, one for the DMP program, one for the PhD program, and also our admissions and financial aid team is here to answer your questions. So we're gonna go ahead and do this in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, you can go ahead and join the breakout rooms now.
Hi, I'm on my phone. I don't understand. How do you go in? Yeah,
the
I don't
room.
see the breakout rooms yet, Juan.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Let me see.
Yeah, they're not listed yet.
They're not listed. Let me see here.
They're listed now.
Open
No,
all
no.
rooms. Let
No,
me
I
see.
don't
Close
see
all
it.
rooms. Let me see here. Okay, here. Haha, okay, let's try this. Try this again. Did that work?
No.
Yeah, go for it. I see people trickling in and out, I think. Yes.
Oh, here. Okay.
Have fun jumping around.
If you need help going into a room, let us know and mute yourself and we can put you in.
I need help.
Oh, Luz Maria, Marie,
Yes.
what room do you want to go to?
I'd like to go to the DNP room.
Okay, I'll put you in right now.
Thank you.
Anybody else need help going into a specific room?
Should we stop the recording now? Yeah.